The weather, kinda windy. The tea, pumpkin spice. The lighting, questionable. The hat, something I wish I could wear all the time. Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith, and today I'm bringing you my October TBR. Yes, as you will know from the witch hat, because any excuse to wear a witch hat, it is October, it is Halloween month. It is the best month of the year, in my opinion. Does my TBR reflect that? No. I'd love to be the kind of person who could theme a TBR, but alas, I am not that person yet. One day, when I stop coming up with projects that mean I need to read specific books, maybe. That being said, there's a few witchy things in here, so maybe we'll go with that. I have 19 books on my October TBR. That's about the right number for me. I like to have around about 20 books. I usually read more than that, but we'll see what happens this month. I do have my Last Chance TBR, which you can go and watch, which may feature as well. We'll have to find out in the October wrap-up in a month's time. The majority of these are rereads, so they can also be swapped out if I decide actually I need to read a review copy that comes in sooner, or any of the above. You know the drill. I am also filming this a little bit ahead of time. I'm filming this on the 25th of September, so it is a little bit early, so there's every chance that some of these I might have already read, I suppose, but the only way to know that is to subscribe and watch my vlogs so you can know what I'm reading in real time. I will say I have 2 books on my TBR that I am planning on reading before this TBR goes up that weren't on my September TBR. That is City of Lies and the review copy of The Hollow Empire by Sam Hawke. This came in and I really want to read it, and I have 5 days left in the month, so when I finished Inheritance I'm going to pick these up and read them back to back and have a good time with it, so expect hopefully a review for those coming soon. So those don't count as part of this TBR, I just thought I'd mention that I'm planning on reading them. So let's, without further ado, because I do a lot of a-doing, let's work through these 19 books. First up, it's pretty obvious, I'm trying to stick to my schedule of doing one a month. Animorphs 11. I actually haven't looked this up. I tend to try and go in completely blind, reacting to the cover when I'm writing the script, so I don't know anything about it. I'm excited for it. I'm not going to include a cover image because I don't want to look at it until I'm scripting it. Animorphs 11 needs to happen. Then I have 2 review copies which have been languishing in my office for probably 6 months now. I think these came in just after the quarantine came in and I couldn't go into the office to pick them up. This is The Looking Glass by Christina Henry. This is 4 short stories in her Alice in Wonderland universe. They're dark retellings, I'm pretty sure. All of her other stuff has been. It's interesting. I'm quite looking forward to this because I think her Alice in Wonderland stuff, if I'm remembering that I've read it correctly, which I'm pretty sure I have, is some of my favourite of her retelling stuff. I didn't love The Girl in Red, which I've recently unhauled if you watch my book unhaul video, but I'm looking forward to picking this up, and 4 short stories, nice, I like it. After that I have We Ride the Storm by Devin Madsen. This is war fantasy. It's the first book in the Reborn Empire. Isn't it nice when people put the numbers on the spines? It's one of my favourite things. This could be hit or miss for me. I genuinely don't know how I'm going to feel about it. War fantasy I either really like, or it really, really bores the teeth of me. That's not what I mean. I find it very boring. But this has a warrior, an assassin, and a princess, which bodes well, and if the assassin and the princess end up falling in love, I won't be mad about it. After that, similar to City of Lies, I have a book that I'm rereading, followed by the sequel, which I have on NetGalley. I am hoping to have a physical copy come in the post soon. Orbit are normally very nice and will send me things, so hopefully I can put them next to each other and enjoy it physically. I have the songs tabbed in this. I should say what this is. This is The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. This is magical dragon hunting ships. Amazing. It was one of my favourite books of last year. I've bought multiple copies for people I know. It's just so good. I don't love the title of the second one because the Bone Ships and then the Call of the Bone Ships doesn't quite work as a title schematic for me, but I'm really, really excited to read this. I love R.J. Barker's writing, and I'm really looking forward to rereading the story and having a great time. One day I will actually get round to composing some stuff for the sea shanties in this, but it is not this day. The last book that's on my TBR that isn't a reread is Blood of Dragons, and this is an audiobook that I picked up when my Audible credit came in last month, and I still haven't got to it, and it's definitely been over a month by the time I'm watching this and I haven't started it yet. This is the last book in Robin Hobb's Rainwild's quartet, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. I think the reason I'm putting it off is I've not done anything kind of mindless that didn't need audio on in the background, and also I've been listening to Inheritance by audiobook, so anytime I do have is kind of going towards that. I think it's also that slight trepidation at ending a series, like what if, and it's Robin Hobb, so when my characters don't have the happy endings I want them to have, how am I going to feel? Alright, the next set of books on this TBR, if you're splitting the TBR out into broad categories, are books that I'm reading for my secret project, which I think you'll probably start to get what I'm planning on doing when I talk about which books I'm reading. Maybe, I don't know. If you guess, comment below. First up is my reread of Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden. I absolutely love this trilogy. It's the Winter Night trilogy, and it's one of my all-time favourite fantasy series. I've reread books 1 and 2 in the last year and absolutely adored them. I cried so much reading The Girl in the Tower again, and I haven't read this since the first time I read it, when it absolutely shattered me, and I'm a little bit nervous to go into it again. I don't know how it's going to go. But suffice to say, this is absolutely beautiful writing, a really great story, young girl in touch with the old gods. There's a frost demon who's also a god of death, who she definitely loves, and oh, it's just beautiful and amazing and wonderful and everything I want in the world. I also have another series. There's quite a lot of books 1 and 2 in a series in this list. Children of Blood and Bone and Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I have read Children of Virtue and Vengeance this year, but I haven't read Children of Blood and Bone probably since 2018, so I'm looking forward to picking these up again. When I first read Children of Virtue and Vengeance, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I thought it might feel a bit kind of generic YA, but actually I found it really, really good, and it inspired me, and I really want to pick up the first one again. I also feel like I'm kind of coming out of my YA phase, so picking up some good YA feels like a good shout for the moment. This is also books 1 and 2, but it's a duology, so I feel like it's kind of fine. This is The Wrath and the Dawn and The Rose and the Dagger by Renée Ahdieh. Again, I haven't read these since probably 2017. I think I picked them up at Yalk, or maybe I picked the second one up at Yalk. I can't remember, my first year. Anyway, these are Scheherazade fantasy YA romance, and I really liked them, and I remember feeling very affectionate towards them at the time, and I'm interested to reread them to see if I still want to keep them all those years later, basically. Oh, another duology. Being blessed with many duologies this month. This is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I don't think I need to go into what these books are about. YA heist novels. I don't think I've read these in a few years. I might have reread Six of Crows. I don't think I've read them in these special editions, which, I mean, make of that what you will, I don't know. I'm a bit nervous reading them because I have friends who from the beginning said they didn't love them because they'd read other things that were similar first, and I'll be interested to see whether I now feel that way, having read a lot more since I first read them. I don't know, it's going to be interesting. Also, having not loved the Leigh Bardugo that I've read in the meantime, and unhauled some of it in fact, if I have to get rid of these, then that's all the Leigh Bardugo off my shelves. Next, I have 4 books that I pulled from my rereads jar. I have Aragon by Christopher Paolini. As I've mentioned, I am rereading Inheritance now, so I'll be going from the last book in a series to the first book in a series, and also we'll apparently have 3 Paolini books across 2 months, which is ludicrous. This is my very old, very battered edition of Aragon. I'm going to see when this printed. I think this must be from around about 2005? I'm not sure, but this is the original. I bought this when I was a child and wanted to read this copy. This is Farm Boy Fantasy Dragon. I mean, it is what it is, and I'm looking forward to rediscovering it. All I remember is that Aragon takes ages to get going, so I'm fully anticipating maybe having to power through that one. I have mentioned this in a recent video that I don't think will have gone up yet, but The Light Between Worlds by Laura Weymouth was next to come out of my reread jar, and I'm very, very nervous to read this. Similar to Winter of the Witch, I know this is going to make me cry, and I don't know if I'm emotionally prepared. So this book follows 2 sisters who have come back from a fantasy realm, absolutely definitely not Narnia, but it is. And one of them is adjusting to normal life and the other one is really not. And it's a really emotional book, a lot about mental health, and it just broke my heart the first time I read it. I don't know how it's going to go the second time. Another one from the jar, Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller. I reread Daughter of the Pirate King a few months ago and I didn't love it, so this is another one of those. I'm going to reread this, and if I decide I don't want to keep both of them, then they can happily go to new homes. I am done having books on my shelf that I do not love. This is the sequel to that, and all I remember of it from the first time I read it was that I was surprised as to how much of it got taken over by the romance. And I expect I will find that again. And last of my rereads jar, I'm really, really excited to be rereading Beyond the Deep Woods, which again, I probably haven't read for years. It is the first ever Edge Chronicles book I ever read. I think it's probably the first one most people read. I have so much nostalgia with this series, and I've been gradually rereading the books that I do have, and I've loved every single one of them. So I'm delighted to be able to go back all the way to the beginning. This copy that has almost certainly been dropped in the bath before, looking at how wrinkly the pages are. Oh, it's going to be so good. I'm just looking at the illustrations and already I feel like I am child again. The last two books on this TBR are sort of my shameful books for this month. I guess last month I had the How to Train Your Dragon books. This month I want to reread The Guinevere Deception and The Camelot Betrayal, and I got sent an arc of both of these, but more recently got sent an arc of The Camelot Betrayal, and so I read it, I talked about it on my vlog, and I had a really good time reading it, and then I didn't write the book review for it because it wasn't out till November, the pressure wasn't on, and now I've got to the point where I really need to write the review for it, and I've forgotten everything that happened. So I am rereading both of them to remind myself and to actually persuade me to write the review. I'm just taking advantage of the fact that my TBR is small to do that, because normally I would have to just sort of pull a review out of somewhere and try and look through my old vlogs and work out what I thought and remind myself, and that feels silly. I have remembered another book that I want to read, but I think it can either wait till November or I will try and read it in the next 5 days. And that is Rune Light by Joanne Harris. But we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for watching. If there's any of these that you are interested in buddy reading this month, do let me know. I'm always here for a buddy read. As I say, a lot of this is rereading, and I think that's going to be a bit of a trend for the next few months, but I'm not mad at it. While you're down there commenting which of these books you want to read, you can also follow me on all of my social media. That's linked below. You can subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. There's gonna be some bloopers now. Why do things always go at the bottom of the piles? Petitions, which world? I also have Daughter of the Siren King, and I got sent an arc of the Camelot Betrayal. Camelot? Oh, T, I love you so much.